but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Well,
I just said no. I just answered.
The president would not pardon or commute the sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
His son, Hunter, is also up for being sentenced next month. Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
President Biden says that he's not going to pardon his son, Hunter. Is he going to ask Donald Trump to do that?
I don't have anything else to share about that. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole on this. I've been very clear. The president's been very clear when we've been asked this question.
What shame!
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about more coverage of the backlash that Democrats are receiving due to the fact that Joe Biden has pardoned Hunter Biden after claiming that he would not do so, okay? Because apparently nobody in this country is above the law except the Bidens, right, in the Democrat Party, who seem to believe that the law does not apply to them, right? And that's exactly what Joe Biden showed America. He also showed America that he has no issues lying to the American people when it comes to what he intends to do as president of the United States, weaponizing his power as president to get his son out of trouble. Again, this is classic and overt corruption right in your face, and the White House propaganda team played right along with it, right? Karine Jean-Pierre, who leads that team, the affirmative action DEI press secretary, she, at the very least on 6 separate occasions, had said that Joe Biden had no plans of pardoning Hunter Biden. Now, Karine Jean-Pierre is getting confronted by reporters on her lies, and she basically doubles down on her lies and insists that no. Joe Biden was being truthful. He was actually being truthful when he told the American people that he would not pardon his son. Take a look.
You have said repeatedly yourself since the election, the president has said for months, no pardon was coming. I wanted to ask you, could those statements now be seen as lies from the American people? Is there really a credibility issue here given now this announcement?
First of all, one of the things that the president always believes is to be truthful to the American people. That is something that he always truly believes. And if you see the end of his, I assume that you've read his statement, and you look at the end of that statement, and he actually says that in the first line in the last paragraph, and respects the thinking and how the American people will actually see this in his decision making. And I would encourage everyone to read in full the president's statement. I think he lays out his thought process. He lays out how he came to this decision. He came to this decision this weekend. So let's be very clear about that. He says it himself. It's in his voice. He said he came to this decision this weekend. And he said he wrestled with this. And because he believes in the justice system, but he also believes that the war politics infected the process and led to a miscarriage of justice.
Wow, incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Karine Jean-Pierre is essentially arguing that, no, you don't understand. Biden wasn't lying when he obviously lied to the American people about his intentions to pardon his son. No, he was telling the truth, right? He was being truthful at the time, right? That's the argument that they're trying to make, that Biden wasn't lying. He was being truthful at the time, and he just came to this decision this weekend. And again, I think that part of that is they're trying to take advantage of the fact that Trump has nominated Kash Patel to lead the FBI, and the mainstream media is running propaganda against Kash Patel. So they're doing this with this type of selective timing to try to justify it and say, well, hey, who can blame Biden? Kash Patel is in charge of the FBI, right? Trump's weaponizing. He's showing that he wants to weaponize the DOJ against his political opponents, right? This is what Biden's playing into. But again, here's the problem. The problem with defending Biden's lies as the truth, which again is par for the course when it comes to Democrats gaslighting the American people, pissing on your leg and telling you that it's raining, is that Biden said unequivocally, I am not pardoning my son, no matter what, right? I'm going to let the process play out because I respect the rule of law. Now, Biden, by definition, lied because he said that he would not do it. Okay, he was not going to do it. Now, if it was something that he was still thinking about, if it was something that was a possibility, then he should have come out here and said, hey, I don't plan on doing it, but it's a possibility, right? But he didn't say that, okay? He unequivocally stated he would not do it, and that's what makes this so bad. This is why you can't spin this, right? You can't spin this the way that the Democrats are trying to spin it. Biden's defenders, some defenders are trying to spin this. It really just makes you look stupid. It actually makes you look like a bad person. Like, for example, listen to some of the propagandists on The View, specifically Whoopi, tried to spin Joe Biden lying to the American people as, no, that wasn't a lie. Stop saying that Joe lied, right? This is what Whoopi said on The View.
I want to understand two things because I respect it as a parent. I understand why he would do it, but I wonder to understand why lie about it for so long.
I'd stop calling it a lie.
Okay, why repeatedly say you're not going to and you do? And secondarily, for the part of this country, half of it that doesn't support Biden, doesn't know him personally, doesn't get to have phone calls, and they're just looking at a system that seems like it's only benefits the people who are in power.
I'm going to say,
what precedent does that set?
Well, here's what it says. It's a precedent for all of us to open our eyes because we've elected someone who is in a similar situation, who didn't have a drug problem, who knew what he was doing, who clearly stood and said, I can do this, and he did it. So I think, for many, many reasons, this is very different than any other situation that we have ever dealt with, because when we're talking about who gets a pardon and who doesn't get a pardon, this man, I think Biden had no intentions of pardoning Hunter. And I think the more stuff that went down, I think he said, well, why am I busting my behind to stay straight and do this when nobody else is, when no one else is doing it?
I think
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. The gaslighting here is insane. This is an insane level of gaslighting. Whoopi is literally telling Elizabeth Fair Griffin, stop saying that Biden lied. Stop saying that he lied, okay? You don't understand. Hunter's a crackhead, right? He's a drug addict. Therefore, you can't say that he lied, okay? Biden had no intentions of pardoning Hunter, and I believe him. And it's like, okay, well, if he did not have any intentions of doing it, then he should have said, it is not my intention to do it, right? Again, you have to be precise in your language when you're talking about issuing a presidential pardon to your son, right? Something that people are going to look at and say, okay, this is nepotism, right? This is corruption, okay? There's going to be a whole lot of criticisms. And Biden said, no, I'm not doing it, right? His propagandist, his official mouthpieces said, no, I'm not doing it. He didn't say it's not my intention to do it, right? I don't intend on doing it as of right now. That's not what he said. If he had said that, then he would have opened up the possibility that he would have did it. However, it was obvious that that's what he was going to do. I mean, everybody could see this coming from a mile away. And it's at the point now where even the special counsel, David Weiss, they are clapping back at Joe Biden in these claims that somehow, some way, his son is receiving unfair treatment, as if he's being politically persecuted for being a Biden. Take a look.
Therefore, every day of Hunter Biden's Delaware case, rows and rows of that courtroom were filled with Biden family members, including the First Lady. It was clear that they were there to support him. They felt that the case was unfair, and his lawyers thought there was a chance they could convince the jury of that as well. We spoke to at least one juror who did ultimately convict Hunter. They said that they believe the case was, quote, a waste of taxpayer money, but the prosecutors proved it beyond a reasonable doubt. But, of course, Hunter faced a second case in Los Angeles, and just hours before that trial was supposed to start, he entered a sort of unusual plea deal where he pleaded guilty to all the charges he faced. He was looking at a possible sentence of up to 17 years in prison, hefty fines surpassing $1 million. You don't enter a plea deal like that unless you are confident you are going to get some form of clemency. So this is only surprising to people who have not been paying attention to the facts of this case and the support Hunter has received from his family.
And David Weiss, who is a special counsel prosecuting Hunter Biden, has now reacted.
That's right. In a filing, he's sort of firing back at some of the president's statements about the nature of the case. Here, Weiss is trying to defend his work. He says that, quote, in announcing this pardon yesterday, President Biden said his son was selectively and unfairly prosecuted. But Weiss said there was, quote, none and never has been any evidence of vindictive or selective prosecution in this case. They also accurately point out that 2 judges previously rejected Hunter's claim that he was selectively prosecuted. This is significant because it's Weiss's first statement since these pardons were announced. Not surprising that he is trying to defend his case and the work of his team.
Yeah, so the reaction that I find to be especially fascinating is the reaction from people like Ana Navarro. People who basically tried to rub it in the face of Republicans and conservatives and Trump supporters that, hey, Joe Biden believes in the rule of law. He didn't pardon his son, and he's not going to, right? She used that as bragging points in support of Joe Biden. And just to turn around after Joe Biden basically broke his promise, lied to the American people, now comes out and tries to justify it, tries to say, well, I'm glad he did it, right? And he should have did it. After basically trying to take a victory lap over Joe Biden not doing it when he claimed that he wasn't going to do it.
We need to do compare and contrast here. So Joe Biden's gotten asked about, talking about law and order. He's gotten asked if he would pardon his son. He has said no.
Right.
He got asked if he would commute the sentence of his son. He has said no. On the other side, you've got Donald Trump, who has said that he will pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. Yeah. They're not even his sons. They're just sons of bitches.
I actually talked to Joe Biden about this. Mm-hmm. When he was on the show, I told him I hoped he pardoned Hunter.
I remember.
You did. I went to speak at the Biden Institute in Delaware like a month later, and we talked on the phone, and I told him I hoped he pardoned Hunter. I left him a handwritten note at his desk at the University of Delaware and told him I hoped he pardoned Hunter. And the reason I thought it was important is because I wanted him to hear from people who support him and respect him, which I do, that some of us, I'd say most of us, think it's okay for him to pardon Hunter because of what you just said, that so many of the people who committed this crime do not get prosecuted. Imagine the guilt that Joe Biden has to live with, thinking that his son, his only surviving son, is getting prosecuted because he is his son.
Wow. Wow. That is an insane level of hypocrisy. I've never seen anything like it. Ana Navarro openly bragged about how, well, Joe Biden's not going to pardon Hunter, right? To try to use that as some example of how Joe Biden believes in the rule of law and Trump doesn't, and to try to differentiate Biden from Trump, okay, to make it seem as if Biden is morally superior, right? He's above corruption. But at the same time, she was telling Joe Biden to be corrupt, right? Do you guys understand what this woman is saying? She is essentially trashing Trump and trying to put Biden on a moral high ground for not being corrupt, while at the same time telling Joe Biden, no, I think you should actually be corrupt, right? I think you should pardon your son, okay? Do exactly what I am trashing Trump for doing. Absolutely amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing. These people, they just haven't learned their lesson from the last election. They haven't learned their lesson. Democrats legitimately believe they don't have to be better than their opponents. They don't have to be. They don't have to be held to the standard that they try to hold everybody else to. That is what they really believe. And until Democrats figure out that, no, if you want to be the party of the moral high ground, then you actually have to be the people that you claim that you are, right? You have to actually be better than your political opponents. You have to be. And until Democrats actually figure that out, until they actually hold themselves to a standard, because right now there are no standards for Democrats, right? There are no standards whatsoever. Until they hold themselves to an actual standard, their party is going to struggle. And again, look at the propagandists in the media. They're a laughingstock. Nobody believes them. Karine Jean-Pierre, if she had any credibility or self-awareness, she quit. As soon as she gets back from Africa, okay, as soon as she's back on U.S. soil, she would quit, okay? She would quit if she had any self-respect. This woman is the press secretary. She's the mouthpiece of the president, and she lied. And then when called out on her lie, she basically says, oh, well, no, you don't understand. Biden was telling the truth, right? He was telling the truth. The lie was actually the truth. You're doubling down on the lie. You're lying about you lying. It's a shame. It really is. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed as an American that these are the people that are representing this country. This overt corruption right in your face. But like I said, these people, they're going to have a hard time gaining back their credibility if this is the route they want to go down. If they want to go down this route, yeah, they're going to remain irrelevant. The American people are going to continue to distrust them because we're being gaslit once again. It doesn't matter what the topic is. Inflation, the border, crime, Biden's age, Biden, whether or not he lied about whether or not he pardoned his son. It doesn't matter what the topic is. They just lie. They literally tell you the opposite of reality, and you're the bad person. You're the bad person if you call them out on it. If you say, nah, that's not right. No, you're corrupt. No, well, you just support an insurrectionist. You support a racist. You support Trump. Trump is just, he's so terrible that Democrats should be allowed to do anything. Right? This is what they believe. Trump is so terrible, the Democrats should be allowed to get away with anything. Anything. I just don't think that's going to work. It didn't work in the election. I don't think it's going to work moving forward. And what you're seeing here from Democrats doubling and tripling down on defending Joe Biden and trying to play the whataboutism game, it shows that they're not really trying to change. They really are not trying to hold themselves to the standards that they hold everybody else to and to be the people that they claim they are. And as long as they continue to do that, yeah, it's going to be hard for them to have any credibility whatsoever. Nobody's going to believe them. And they're going to be looked at as a joke. They're going to be looked at as a laughing stock. And what you're seeing here are Biden supporters. They're just destroying their reputations, defending the Democrat Party no matter what. And this is what Trump derangement does, right? This is what it does to you. It impairs your ability to think, okay? Because any of these people, if they actually use their brain for 2 seconds, you'll realize, hey, maybe we shouldn't defend this, right? There's just some things we just should not defend, and we shouldn't try to whataboutism. Let's actually hold ourselves to the standard that we held everybody else to, and maybe, just maybe, we'll gain back some credibility. Nope, they haven't figured it out yet, and it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.